Howdy, partners.
Howdy, partner. Howdy, partner.
I'm just heading over to the motorcycle dealership today to see if I can bag myself a deal on an MT-10. This bike I'm driving here is my trusty steed, my MT-09, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about this bike and why I'm going for an upgrade. First of all, this is a fantastic bike. I've had no regrets at all in buying it, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. It is easily a powerful enough bike for the roads. Let me just open it up and just show you the power on this thing. Just to give you an idea that it is, you know, you'll beat any car pretty much. Maybe not the super performance cars or the Teslas, but you'll take them out when they're stuck behind other cars, because you just the ease with which you can overtake on a motorcycle. And this is just a brilliant all-round bike. When I was looking at it, I was looking at a number of things, price being one, comfort, because I came from sports bikes, which was starting to give me a bit of a neck ache and a back ache, to be fair. I wanted something that was, you know, over 100 brake horsepower. I think this has about, I got this in late 2022. This must be around 116, I'll have to double check. You know, something that had a quick 0 to 60, something that was light, fun. This is a naked bike. What were the other things I was looking for? I wanted to make sure I could get some bags for it. That is one of the negatives of the MT-10, but I'll come to that in a second. And really, yeah, so the thing that lets it down, is a problem that Yamaha has been made aware of by its customers, and I think has been trying to redress. It was particularly an issue on the old MT-10, which I believe they've put right on the new one now, since 2023. But it is kind of a problem on this bike, or a con, as opposed to a pro, is the fuel tank, which is 14 litres, so you don't have a fantastic range on this machine. But all things considered, you know, I was willing to compromise one or two areas in order to end up with a really good all-round bike. And I mean, even that point, I reckon you could squeeze, again I'll have to check, maybe you could squeeze 130 miles out of this thing. And after 100 miles, you probably want to, most bikers on YouTube say that they want to stop after 100 miles anyway. For things like the North Coast 500, which I'm seriously contemplating doing for 2025, I've seen guys online who say, even guys with big bikes and big tanks, they'll say you have to stop at every opportunity you can when you're up there. Whenever you see basically a filling station, stop and fill up, even if it's just to put a quarter of a tank in. But some of these guys actually have like, not jerry cans, like an Oxford fuel bottle, like a couple of litres, and they take that with them on the touring. So you could also use that to compensate. There are bikes out there that have like a 200-mile range, I believe. This bike is certainly not one of them. For fuel economy, yeah, probably not the best, but I mean, it just depends how you ride it. There are different rider modes, and the MT-10 has that as well. So 100% pleased with this bike, and was perfectly prepared to keep it for longer. it does everything I want it to do. But then along came a deposit contribution from Yamaha. I got the email from Yamaha, and a low interest rate or something if you're getting the bike on a hire purchase. And the deposit contribution seemed to apply also to the MT-10, which tells me they're trying to shift bikes. I think they have 2 of these in the dealership, and it looks like they're trying to get them sold, ideally, by the end of this year. So the main reason, again, deals come and go all the time, but it's probably vanity and my ego actually that's causing me to want to change the bike, not rational, logical reasoning by any stretch of the imagination, and that is simply that my ego tells me that I need to own a 1 litre bike, because I've never had one. I've had 2 600cc sports bikes, faster than this thing, even though they're lower cc. This is just shy of 900cc, hence MT-09. But I've never owned a litre bike, so I sort of want to get that out of my system, get the litre bike, and then maybe I'll just go back down to a 700cc Tenere or something, but at least I can say for my ego I've ridden a litre bike. Why come forward? I shouldn't be giving away. You shouldn't be giving away to me. It does get a little confusing down this road though, and better safe than sorry, I guess. Better than splatting the old bike across your windscreen. But yeah, the giveaway bits are clearly marked, whereas on the other side there's just nothing on this particular road in Bedworth. So yeah, I think the MT-10 rocks out, and here I should have been giving away, but never mind. He has to give way to that car, so opportunity. It rocks out something like 160 brake horsepower, so it is like a detuned R1 engine in there, and I think they've, on this model now, 2023 onwards, they've come some way to address the fuel economy issue that so many people moan about with the MT-10. The 2 things that kind of put me off the MT-10 when I got this, I was looking for sort of a lower price, so let's make it 3 things, and fuel economy, and also the fact that you can get the bags for the MT-10 very easily, not the side baggage anyway, at least, whereas you can for this, although there's probably aftermarket niche companies that you could get it for. Unfortunately, you still can't get those from Yamaha, but you can get like a large capacity top bag, so I'm going to go for that. I'll go for the crash bobbins, which I always do on any bike now, since I once dropped my Gixxer and ended up with a very small scratch, and also I got knocked off my bike by a car driver on my Gixxer. No damage to me, the bike was written off, but I got it repaired. And from that day, yes, I will have the side crash bobbins on every bike I ride. A radiator protector, only because a mate of mine, I think, had a stone go through his rad, and it ended up oozing liquid, and he ended up, it's quite handy actually, he replaced it himself on his Fireblade, but he sort of talked me into getting a radiator protector. So I've got those things on this bike. Sat nav I can transfer from this machine onto the MT-10. I already checked that out with the dealership. Extra windscreen, I got that on this bike. I'll be asking for that on the MT-10 as well. That just stops you getting blown about when you're on the motorway. Not that I like going on the motorway much, but if you're going to do the North Coast 500, for example, there's going to be stretches of motorway. There's the odd time when, if I'm in a rush and I don't want to do the hour-and-a-half route back from my mum's place, I'll take the hour-long route back, which involves motorway driving. It's just nice to have that bit of protection from the wind. Now here's where I need to be getting past some cars. Stop messing about here. Let's see what we can do. It's a bit boring to stay stuck here. So let's weave, baby. So yeah, the windscreen, radiator protector, crash bobbins, sat nav, baggage. That's the spec. Those are the add-ons. No kind of mods or anything. I haven't done any modification. Like, I've not changed the exhaust on this bike or anything, but there's some exciting things you can do with all that kind of stuff as well. You can sort of customise your bike on top. Don't need to do that straight away, at least. So make these guys slow down. You see, this is the beauty of riding bikes. I was also toying with the idea of getting a second car or a van. My wife drives the car, and it's really her car. I can drive it occasionally, but I've since decided to rule that out and go hardcore all-weather biker. So I plan to ride in the winter as well, except maybe when when the conditions are really terrible, like black ice, snow. And I came to a conscious decision on that if I do that, I can get a nicer bike and just put up with the hassle of, at times, not having the second car, because the wife has a car and I need a car and I can't have it. The main problem for me with that is yeah, if I need to nip down the DIY shop and I don't have a car available, if I need to leave the vehicle somewhere, like in Coventry town centre or something, I won't do that, because since my mate got his bike nicked in broad daylight. So that's where it's good to have a little run around car. You got to make a few compromises there, and if you're prepared to do that, then you can be just an all year biker. Now for that, really what I should be doing is getting the heated grips. I've already kind of got the guys to come up with a spec, and it doesn't include the heated grips. I think if you get the MT-10 SP, I think, I'll have to check, the grips might come as standard. It would be a really good investment to do that. So I may just inquire about it, and how much would it cost after the event to get heated grips. Now I think about it, it really might be a good thing to do, actually. Just take the hit on that, because then the worst thing I found riding in wintry kind of weather has been my hands getting really cold. Sometimes my head. You can get around that by having a balaclava under your crash hat. Hands, I mean, even with these Gore-Tex gloves that I've bought new for this season, they're not completely it's not like they're not going to ever let you down in bad weather. They will. You will get cold hands. So if he would only move forward a bit, that would help me. No problems with moving anyway. So yeah, the next part of this video, if all goes to plan, shall be me taking my new machine home, I hope. I've gone for a different colour scheme. I really like the all black look, but I just thought it's just simply too boring to get the same exact colour scheme again a second time. Although they did have an all black one in stock, so I'm going to go for like the black grey sort of colour with the bright green wheels, which I think looks quite nice, and I guess that sort of makes you just a little bit more visible on the road as well. So let's see how this goes, and I'm going to say ciao for now and adios. Howdy partners.
Howdy partner.
If you're wondering what on earth I'm doing riding my bike in this inclement weather, it'll be because today's the day I'm swapping my MT-09 for my MT-10. Well, almost, because the MT-10 won't be ready until tomorrow because I've got to get this sat-nav transferred to the new bike. And boy am I glad that I did go for the heated grips on the spec of the bike for the MT-10. I don't have it on this. Not that I would normally ride in this kind of weather, but I thought it was worthy of rolling the cameras. It's very beautiful, in fact, and interesting that my swan song on this bike, my final ride on this bike, is in the snow, because I actually rode it home from the dealership in January and there was snow on the ground, although no snow falling like this. So this is a little bit of an adventure. I'm unfortunately not going to be able to take it for a blast for my final ride, but then given that I'm jumping up to an MT-10, I'm not really going to be missing out too much there. I do love this little MT-09. I wasn't really ready to get rid of it. Could have happily kept it for a good few more years, but it was just the right opportunity came up to get a litre bike, as I explained already. So I can't get the MT-10 because today, as I mentioned, they've got to do a bit of work on it, fit the parts I ordered, radiator guard and all that. I would recommend, by the way, that you always get a rad guard and crash bobbins as standard on any bike. But I've also gone for the additions, the wind protector, which this bike has been absolutely perfect on the motorway, largely thanks to that. The rear baggage, Yamaha stock item. Crash bobbins, what else? Yeah, getting the sat-nav flipped over, and the heated grips, which I opted for. Wow, my visor is getting full of snow. Yeah, the roads aren't too bad. And yeah, I just don't know when I'm going to get to actually take the MT-10 for the first ride, because they're delivering it by van tomorrow, and it's going to be like -3, so I'm not sure I really fancy going out. I've got to say, kudos to Alf England, who rang me at, there's another hardcore biker, they rang me at 8:05 today, offering me to come collect this in the van. But by then I was already all geared up and getting, had all my gear on, and I was just pottering in my garage, and I'd got it in my mind to make a final little film with this snow. So I declined. I probably should have taken them up on the offer. I might have been sensible and might have Saved my wife the trip of having to come and pick me up from out of England. So that'll be our little secret. So yeah, this you don't really normally expect snow on, what day is it? 19th or 20th of November? I've lost track of the day. Mid-November. Snow has come early this year, I think. I'm trying to recall another year in the past when it snowed this early, like proper, almost settling. I can't recall. So yeah, alright, we'll get over to Alfie. Exciting, I'm really stoked about getting the Lita bike. I've been watching tons of videos. It's apparently the one of the most popular bikes in the UK, as in, well, should I say the UK is one of the best markets for the MT-10, if not the best. It's such an excellent all-rounder bike, very reasonable price. It's not a Ducati Multistrada, but or top-end monster, but you know, it's up there. It's, yeah, just bristling with power, really. I'm going to try and do anything fancy today on these roads. And yeah, I'm going to notice the difference, I think. This is already more than enough power for my needs, this MT-09. But a lot of the guys on YouTube are saying, you know, you don't actually need to bother riding it in the drive mode 1 or drive mode A, whatever that is. They actually flip it to drive mode B stroke 2, because they just can't cope with the thing on 1. I guess I'll have to try that and make my own mind up. I've had this MT-09 consistently on the fastest drive mode, even in this weather. I've got it on 1. I should probably have it on 4. Maybe I could do that actually. Let's just pop it on 4. But I suppose the key thing is, like, does it rev really high on the MT-10 if you've got it on the 1? Like, is the revs preset to high rev? Like that used to be the case on my BMW sports car. If you put it in sport mode, it would be revving. So obviously it's guzzling fuel. And so, like, when it comes to doing things like the North Coast 500, which is the name of mine for 2025, do I want to keep it in like drive mode 3E4 for fuel economy purposes? I don't know. I don't actually know, because if you are gentle on the throttle in 1, 2, you might, might be the same kind of thing. So let's do a bit of nifty overtaking with caution. The last thing I want to do is tip this thing over on the day I'm due to hand it over, shall we say. So let's proceed with extreme caution. This is horrible traffic, and I just hope my missus doesn't hit this. Hopefully the worst of it will have passed. Right, so Ford has got the right idea. But Ford is turning right and I'm not. But Discovery is. Go on, Discovery. Give him a wave. Yeah, once again, it just shows just what a great thing it is to have a bike when you need to get past loads of traffic. Okay, we're good. Good to go. So I think this is going to be a slightly longer video than I'd anticipated. I hadn't planned on doing a second film of my MT-09. You can forward to the MT-10 vid, because if you're considering an MT-10, to be honest, there's so many videos online, but you can get you'll get a nice sound of the engine. It's that is one of its big selling points. That bike is just the beautiful sound of the engine. I'm not going to give you all the specs and that because I can't retain it in my head too easily. Although that would be a good memory exercise, just to remember the key features of the MT-10 in my head. I do know it's a 1 litre bike and the fuel tank size is slightly bigger, I think, than this MT-09. This is 14 litres, which is pretty bad. It's not the best for range, this bike. So I think the MT-10, the newer MT-10, they've done a lot of improvements in that area of fuel economy, because so many Yamaha customers were moaning about it. So they had to take heed. But it's a beefier bike. So do you get still about the same fuel economy? In fact, I think I looked at this. I think it's about the same in the end. There's a good video actually. I'll see if I might, if I can be bothered, include the link. But one of the biker journalists, I think, definitely biker vloggers, takes an MT-10 to Wales, and his mission in the video is just to keep going until he completely runs out of fuel. And I think he makes it to like the Gospel Pass in Wales from Surrey or somewhere. I think he gets over 140 miles out of it. And all the riders who go touring say you want to brake after 100 miles anyway. I've got to say, these gloves today are doing the trick, sort of. Hands a little bit cold, but then I haven't been riding at speed, so not that you'd want to in this kind of weather. So I guess I'll sign off from here. This is pretty boring side. Come to the boring stage of the video. So ciao for now, and next stop will be all being well on my MT-10. Adios.